Have you ever felt like your life was a cycle, with no real purpose or meaning? There's a common feeling in our society, especially among adolescents. Mental health is critical, but sadly, it negatively impacts millions of the lives of the growing people of our generation. About 20% of adolescents may experience a mental health problem in any given year due to various factors, and the strongest one is unproductivity. The thing is, can we do something about it? I've encountered many scenarios in my life where I felt unproductive, like I wasn't taking advantage of the many opportunities I had. Unproductivity is something that affects everyone. The problem is when it becomes an extreme daily routine. I remember when I used to do that, when my whole routine was based on meaningless activities that wouldn't give me something to think about, that wouldn't leave a satisfactory feeling inside me. I would wake up, lay around in bed for a while, and finally get up around 12 p.m. and just do the basic things, such as eating and showering. I would use my phone for a while, and then I'd sleep. This would be my daily routine on vacations, and expectantly, I would feel useless, as if I was just wasting my time. It wasn't really my fault. I just didn't have the means to do something. Unproductive people often don't know what to do. They don't have a clear vision or plan. To balance your lives, we need to recognize the different things that might prevent us from a healthier lifestyle. For example, doom scrolling is the act of spending an excessive amount of time scrolling through social media, in platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. When you begin, it's hard to stop. The algorithm keeps showing you your interests, which inclines people to scroll for hours. This is why we need to keep ourselves busy, and I have the perfect solution. We can choose how we spend our time. It takes discipline to actually achieve greater habits that do us a greater good. Activities such as exercising, listening to music, and socializing are great ways of clearing our mind. Doom scrolling is a new reality of our times. Be careful not to get stuck in the endless cycle of doom and gloom. Getting lost in social media is something easy. There have been times where I spent my whole afternoon only looking at my phone. It requires discipline to get off the cycle and do something else. Various tasks can cause a release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter in the brain that gives us pleasure and motivation. While some of these activities may provide a short-term sensation of happiness, there are other activities that might bring us content in the long term. Mainly, these activities involve helping people and doing volunteer work. Doing this is special because when we help others, we feel happy too. And these emotions are not made up, like what happens with drugs. For example, I recently visited an old age home and played lottery with the residents. This activity was one of the many I have done that made me feeling warm and happy, with something to think about. I noticed a pattern. When I felt my best was when I was doing altruistic activities, since it has been scientifically proven that helping people promotes psychological changes that are linked with happiness. As Robert G. Ingerson mentioned, we rise by lifting others. Time is a limited resource. A minute that passes by is 1 minute less of our life. This is why it's important we make sure we use the time the best way possible. First of all, altruistic activities are great ways to fill us up. So spending time helping others instead of scrolling our minds off are great ways to feel useful. However, we also have to keep ourselves in mind. Practicing mindfulness and respect for our work is a great way to appreciate the things life gives us and reflect on the things we do each day, to avoid repeating mistakes and focus on improving our habits. Finally, keeping in mind our new habits, we can do this by having reminders and agendas to keep track of how much time we are wasting. Balancing our life and choosing the right activities is what will eventually bring us peace and happiness.